God, why did I buy this thing? Anyways, let's get started with the review. There goes $40 down the drain. The Carnotorus you see in front of you today is part of Mattel's 1993 collection, which are remasters of older models that Kenner did back in 1993. The figure you see before you is based off of the Demon Carnotorus from the Wave 2 line from Kenner's original 1993 line, and it costs like $900 nowadays. So yeah, I'm not getting that anytime soon. Let's start off with the box. It seems as if Mattel has merged the 1993 collection with the Legacy collection, which I think is a really smart move. It's because they already have the main line, the Hammond collection, and the Amber collection. How many more collections do they need? Although, I do wish they also ported the packaging from the 1993 collection, because this stuff reeks compared to it. For example, the packaging from the 1993 collection stuff had the toys on display in the back and a multitude of different hues of red to really bring the toy to life. This does seem to be trying to replicate that with the reimagined logo in the bottom right corner with the same colors as the Ford Explorer from the movie, but however, it pales in comparison to the packaging from the 1993 collection.
Hello, this is Editor Mason here. I just realized I forgot to show the back of the box. Here is the back of the box here. As you can see, it is very typical for Mattel, being a simple display of the figure and a recommendation of other toys from the line.
Despite looking bland compared to the previous packaging from this line, the packaging still does a really good job at making the figure pop, with the volcano in the background being really reminiscent of the Fallen Kingdom Toys packaging. Anyways, without a further ado, let's get this guy out of the box. So, as you can see here, the sculpt is very similar to that of Mattel's other Carnotoruses. However, it has a very striking paint job, which greatly differentiates it from the other Carnotoruses of Mattel's lines. So as you can see up here, they got the sculpt of the Carnotorus's head correctly, with both the horns being beautifully sculpted and a little red spot here on the head, along with the eyes being a beautiful greenish color. In the mouth, we see that they had the top of the mouth painted, which is weird for Mattel because they don't usually do that. And they also have the tongue painted and sculpted in there as well. If we move down the figure, we can see that it continues the red down the back all the way to this part of the tail. Sadly, not the end of the tail. And they also have red here on the legs. On the back, they have each of the bumps that Carnotoruses are known for, beautifully sculpted. And if we move down, we see that the fingernails aren't painted. And hold up. So they had the audacity to paint the stomach of the Carnotorus the grayish color, not to mention the actual color that was on the figure that this thing is based off of. But they had the audacity to paint just a chin, and then not go down the figure any longer. I mean, now, you may be wondering why I'm complaining so much about the lack of paint on the underbelly. Here, let me show you why. Let's look at Kenner's Baryonyx figure for a minute, the one from 1993. If we look at the bottom of it, the entire underside is covered all the way from the top here down to the very tip of the tail. Now, Curious, why couldn't Mattel just do that? I mean, I get it, it's to save money, but it shows the lack of quality and care that they're taking for this specific figure. Now, let's take a look at the Baryonyx from the Lost World. As you might notice, there is no paint on the bottom of it. What you may be wondering, Mason, if you're complaining so much about the lack of paint on the Carnotorus, why don't you care about the lack of paint on this Baryonyx figure? Well, first of all, they did put paint on the stomach, but just a little bit on this neck part right here, making me wish they just painted the entire bottom of the figure. And also, the figure would have looked better if they just didn't have the gray spot on it and just kept the entire stomach region black, like they did for this Baryonyx. For this Baryonyx, they did not put a single ounce of paint on the stomach, and it makes it look so much better. Who are you trying to convince? I mean, I get it. Ah, God. Okay. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. I mean, let's look at the Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus, for example. They had white paint starting at the bottom jaw, going down the neck, all the way down the stomach, almost going onto the tail as well. I mean, back in the days, I criticized this thing for not going all the way back to the tail. But, I mean, today, I'm praising it because this thing, like, what even are you doing? Okay, let's get back to glazing this thing's ego. Anyways, the toenails are beautifully painted, as well with the, sculios, or whatever the heck these things are, being beautifully sculpted. Right up here, we have the little flap that Mattel's known for. Oh, didn't mean to spoil the action feature. They have a nice little flap that Mattel's known for with the barcode, in case any of you want to have this dinosaur in your Jurassic Parks. And yeah, that's gonna have to do it for the sculpt and paint job of this figure. The action feature is very similar to that of Mattel's Red Rex, with a button being near the rear end that makes the figure roar, just like the Mattel's Red Rex had. Of course, you could not hear Red Rex's roar because I have the batteries taken out. This, in my opinion, pales compared to the action features that the Red Rex had, because the Red Rex could not just roar, but could also swallow figures whole. And you could pull them out afterwards. This thing, on the other hand, it just roars. And that's it, I guess. And you know what makes me angriest about this figure? They sculpted it so that its jaw is permanently open. Permanently. They could have done the thing that Kenner did back in the 1993 line with the young T-Rex and made it so that if you squeezed its neck, the jaw would open. But no, they sculpted it so the jaw's open. I mean, I guess he can still squeeze the neck and get the jaw to open even wider, but come on, the jaw's already open. Why would you need to make it wider? Anyways, moving on. This thing is a total of 15 inches long and is 7-ish inches tall. Here we have the Demon Carnotaurus next to the Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus, whom I already compared it to earlier. As you can see, the Demon is much bigger than the Fallen Kingdom Carno. Here we have it next to the Camp Cretaceous Carnotaurus, which is roughly the same size as it. Here we have it next to a little Carnotaurus, which came with one of the play sets with Owen Grady. Here we have it next to the 1993 collection's Red Rex. And lastly, here we have it next to the 1993 collection's Gallimimus. Let's check out this thing's articulation. The arms can move outwards and can move in a full 360 motion. Same thing for the other arm on the side of the figure, and the legs are also articulated, being able to move forward and backwards each. And yes, there is no tail articulation. Mattel's Demon Carnotorus is a fantastic attempt at recreating the magic that the 1993 model did for so many children in the 90s. With its fantastic articulation and stunning paint job, this figure is sure to leave a mark in the hearts of children and collectors alike. But if I had to be honest with you, I'd recommend saving your money and buying the one from 1993 that actually cost $900. It would probably be a better investment of your money than this thing. I mean, the stomach's even, or better yet, just buying one of Mattel's other Carnotoruses. This thing just seems like an excuse for Mattel to make a rubber Carnotaurus. They left the mouth open, which is not connected to any action feature, and the stomach's not painted even to the bottom region of the dinosaur right here. It usually cuts off at the tail, but they cut it off right here. Is it a hamster or something? And the action feature really ain't that cool either. It's just, yeah. This thing is still very unique compared to the other Carnotoruses, and I highly recommend, but there's better out there. Save your money. Have a great rest of your day, and make sure to like and subscribe to Casino Co so that we can reach 1,000 subscribers before I die of old age. Bye-bye!